Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Reading from Srimad Bhagavatam, first canto, second chapter, text number 20. Evam prasanna manaso Bhagavad Bhakti Yogataha Bhagavat Tattva Vijnanam Mukta Sangasya Jayate. Translation and purport by His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Translation. Thus established in the mode of unalloyed goodness, the man whose mind has been enlivened by contact with devotional service to the Lord gains positive scientific knowledge of the personality of Godhead in the stage of liberation from all material association. Purport by Srila Prabhupada. In the Bhagavad Gita 7.3, it is said that out of many thousands of ordinary men, one fortunate man endeavors for perfection in life. Mostly men are conducted by the modes of passion and ignorance, and thus they are engaged always in lust, desire, hankerings, ignorance, and sleep. Out of many such man-like animals, there is actually a man who knows the responsibility of human life and thus tries to make life perfect by following the prescribed duties. And out of many thousands of such persons who have thus attained success in human life, one may know scientifically about the personality of Godhead, Sri Krishna. In the same Bhagavad Gita, 18 chapter 55th verse, it is also said that scientific knowledge of Sri Krishna is understood only by the process of devotional service, Bhakti Yoga. The very same thing is confirmed herein in the above words. No ordinary man or even one who has attained success in human life can know scientifically or perfectly the personality of Godhead. Perfection of human life is attained when one can understand that he is not the product of matter, but is in fact spirit. And as soon as one understands that he has nothing to do with matter, he at once ceases his material hankerings and becomes enlivened as a spiritual being. This attainment of success is possible when one is above the modes of passion and ignorance, or in other words, when one is actually a Brahmana by qualification. A Brahmana is the symbol of Sattva-guna or the mode of goodness, and others who are not in the mode of goodness are either Kshatriyas, Vaishyas, Shudras, or less than the Shudras. The Brahminical stage is the highest stage of human life because of its good qualities. So one cannot be a devotee unless one at least qualifies as a Brahmana. The devotee is already a Brahmana by action, but that is not the end of it. As referred to above, such a Brahmana has to become a Vaishnava, in fact, to be actually in the transcendental stage. A pure Vaishnava is a liberated soul and is transcendental even to the position of a Brahmana. In the material stage, even a Brahmana is also a conditioned soul because although in the Brahminical stage the conception of Brahman or transcendence is realized, scientific knowledge of the Supreme Lord is lacking. One has to surpass the Brahminical stage and reach the Vasudeva stage to understand the personality of Godhead, Krishna. The science of the personality of Godhead is the subject matter for study by the postgraduate students in the spiritual line. Foolish men or men with a poor fund of knowledge do not understand the Supreme Lord, and they interpret Krishna according to their respective whims. The fact is, however, that one cannot understand the science of the personality of Godhead unless one is freed from the contamination of the material modes, even up to the stage of a Brahmana. When a qualified Brahmana factually becomes a Vaishnava in the enlivened state of liberation, he can know what is actually the personality of Godhead.
Following is the lecture on Srimad Bhagavatam, 1st Canto, 2nd Chapter, text number 20, given by His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada, recorded on 23rd of August, 1972 in Los Angeles.
So, Bhagavad Tattva Vijnana. Vijnana means science. It is not concoction, speculation. It is a science. Just like mathematics is a science. 2 plus 2 equal to 4. You cannot make 2 plus 2 equal to 5 according to your whims. No. Anywhere you go, it doesn't matter. Because it is science, so either in America or in India or in England, everyone will accept 2 plus 2 equal to 4. That is science. Science is true everywhere. Not that I can imagine my God according to my whims. You can imagine your God. That is going on. No, how you can imagine? There is no question of imagine. This Bhagavad Tattva Vijnanam, this truth, this science can be understood by a person who is Mukta Sangha. Mukta Sangha. Means free from material association. He can understand. Mukta Sangha Sajayat. And the condition is Evang Prasanna Manaso. When you are enlightened, engladdened, because so long we are in the jurisdiction of ignorance and passion, there cannot be any jubilant. There cannot be any enlightenment. Therefore, you have to come to the platform of goodness. As it is stated in the previous, Tadarajastamo bhava kamalobhadayascha je cheta etairana vidyam. Cheta, everything is working within the heart. The whole thing, heart is the central point of this body. So, when the heart is not punctured by the Rajagun and Tamagun, and you become situated on the modes of goodness, then you become jubilant. Jubilant means he can understand at that time that why these people are working so hard, like cats and dogs. The human life is meant for understanding what is God. Athata Brahma Jigyasa. This life is meant for simply understanding what is God. The animal life, they cannot understand. That life is different. But the human life is developed. Consciousness is developed. He can understand. This is called goodness. Tasyaiva heta prajateta kovida. How one becomes intelligent? He can study. When he is on the platform of goodness, he can study the nature. So why I shall work so hard for getting my material necessities? This is being supplied by nature. The birds and beasts, they are getting their food, they are getting their mates, they are being protected in their own way. They have got a sleeping nest apartment. So even an animal, even a small ant, we sit down in the garden, we see, even the small ant, it has got family, it has got home, it has got eating, everything is there. From ant to the elephant. Who is supplying? They have no business. They do not do any business. They have no profession. But they are getting their necessities supplied. Therefore, intelligent person, this is, goodness means intelligence, prakash. And ignorance means darkness. In darkness we cannot see what is what. So, goodness means light. Anyone can see that there are 8,400,000 species of life or forms of life. They are getting their food, they are getting their shelter, they are satisfying their sex, they are also defending without any extra endeavor. By nature, they are doing their own way. So, why human being, so-called civilized human being, is so much harassed for these four things? We have got better intelligence. We shall be rather more comfortable without struggling for existence than the animals. But our struggle for existence is greater than their struggle of existence. What is this civilization? This is not civilization. Everyone wants peaceful, calm life. Even those who are struggling so hard, big business magnate, still at the weekend, they find out some secluded place, nice place without trouble. That is the nature. That human nature should be like that. Then why should we work so hard simply for eating, sleeping, mating? This is a wrong type of civilization. But at the modern age, the human society is so made that one has to work like ass whole day and night simply for satisfying these four necessities of life. That is also not guaranteed. We thought that in your country, when I was in India, I was contemplating coming to your country, I thought that America is very rich. There is no problem for eating, sleeping, mating. Actually, there is need. There is no problem. But the civilization is so mad that there is no shelter. They are lying down on the park, on the street. Why? There is no necessity, but they have created such civilization that a certain section of people are voluntarily, are being obliged, lying down on the street, on the park, no dress, no food, no fixed up sex life, everything is topsy-turvy. Everything is topsy-turvy. But this is not civilization. This is not civilization. How they can understand God? Their mind is always disturbed and full of anxiety. So first of all, you have to come to the state of tranquility. Prasanna manasu. Evam prasanna manasu. Prasanna manasu means always jubilant. That can be achieved by this process. Bhagavad Bhakti Yoga. By devotional service. No, by no other process. Evam prasanna manasu Bhagavad Bhakti Yoga. One can be jubilant only by practicing Bhagavad Bhakti Yoga. There are many other yoga systems, Karma Yoga, Jnana Yoga, Dhyana Yoga, Hatha Yoga, everything you endeavor for spiritual enlightenment, that is called yoga. So there are different types of yoga. But real yoga is Bhagavad Bhakti, devotional. Therefore in the Bhagavad Gita it is said, Yoginam api sarvesam. Of all the yogis, there are different types of yoga system and different types of yogis also. But Krishna says, of all the yogis, yoginam api sarvesam madgatantaratmana sadhyavan bhajati jomang same yukta tamo mata. That yogi who is devotee, and always thinking of me or thinking of Krishna within the heart. Yoginam api sarvesam madgata antaratmana sadhyavan, faithful, bhajate. This is bhajan. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. So, he is first class. Who is chanting Hare Krishna mantra and thinking of Krishna within his heart, first class. That is Bhagavad Bhakti Yoga. And if he does it nicely according to the rules and regulation in the beginning, then he becomes prasanna manasa, enlightened. There is no more any lamentation or hankering. This is the sign. Evam prasanna manaso bhagavad bhakti yogata. Then you can understand what is God. God is not so cheap. Come on, I shall show you God. You haven't got to follow any rules and regulations. People want to be cheated, therefore there are so many cheaters. They take advantage of it because they want everything very cheap. That is not possible. Oh. This is the stage. Prasanna manasa. Oh. Then you can understand what is God. Bhagavad Tattva, because it is a science. Eh? If somebody says, come on, I shall teach you the science of chemistry within a second, give me some money. Is it possible? Huh? If somebody says, I shall teach you mathematics, come on, give me some money. So why these rascals are misled? It is a science. It is not sentiment. It is science. There was understanding of the Supreme Personality of Godhead without reference to these scientific books, Vedic literature. It is simply disturbance, simply rascaldom. Simply creating disturbance only. Cheating some people. They are cheated. They do not get anything. Create some disturbance. That is the instruction of Rupa Goswami. Shruti Sthiti Puranadi Pancharatriki Vidhi Vina Oikantiki Hare Bhakti Utpata Eva Kalpat. Utpat. Utpat means disturbance. So many rascals, without reference to the Vedic literature, reveal scriptures. Shruti, Sriti, these are Vedic literatures. Shruti, Sriti, Puran, Pancharatriki Vidhi. Without reference to all these books. If anyone possesses himself that he has understood God and devotional service, it is simply disturbance, creating disturbance. That's all. Shruti, Sriti, Puranadi, because it is a science. How you can manufacture it? It is not that thing. Therefore, any religion without scientific understanding through philosophy, it is simply sentiment. It is not religion. And philosophy without religious understanding is mental speculation. That is also useless. Philosophy which does not search ultimately what is true, what is God, that philosophy is mental speculation. And the knowledge of God without philosophy is simply sentiment. This should be combined. To understand God, our relationship with God, our duty, everything should be understood scientifically. Bhagavad Tattva Vijnanam, therefore this word has been used, Vijnanam. Vishesha Jnanam. Jnanam, ordinary knowledge, and V, when this word is added, B means Visheshata, particularly, or practical application. This Vijnana. So this Vijnana, this science can be understood by Mukta Sangha, who is freed from the lower modes of material nature, especially Tamagun and Rajagun. So, do not be fooled by so many rascals that Bhagavad Tattva Vijnana, the science of God, understanding is so cheap that anyone can give you by simply one day's association with some rascal. You see? This is not so possible. Yes, it has to be studied, it has to be practiced, it has to be realized. So this Vijnana is being stated in Srimad Bhagavatam. Therefore, in the beginning, in the Srimad Bhagavatam, Dharma projita paitavata. All rascaldom going on under the name of religion, cheating religion, they're completely kicked out from Srimad Bhagavatam. Simply on scientific understanding, we are presenting what is Krishna consciousness, not for sentimentalism. What is the purport?
In the Bhagavad Gita 7:3, it is said that out of many thousands of ordinary men, one fortunate man endeavors for perfection of life. Mostly they are conducted by the modes of passion and ignorance, and thus they are engaged always in lust, desire, hankerings, ignorance, and sleep. Out of many such man-like animals, there is actually a
Man-like animals. They sow with 2 hands, 2 legs, but actually they're animals. 4-legged. 2 legs have been transformed into 2 hands. Go on.
Out of many such man-like animals, there is actually a man who knows the responsibility of human life, and thus tries to make life perfect by following the prescribed duties. And out of such many thousands of persons who thus attain success in human life, one may know scientifically about the personality of Godhead, Sri Krishna.
Yeah. So it is not so easy to understand Sri Krishna. Manusyanam sahasreshu kasti jatati siddhaya jatatamapi siddhyanam. Those who have endeavored for perfection of life, out of many such persons, one can hardly understand Krishna. It is not so easy. But it is by Krishna's grace, Krishna being very compassionate with these fallen souls of this age, he appeared as Lord Chaitanya and distributed Krishna. That is his prerogative. That is his right. If Krishna wants to distribute himself freely, that is a different thing. Otherwise, it is not so easy to understand Krishna. Just like to earn $1 million is not so easy. But if you are fortunate, you meet somebody who can distribute $1 million at a time, and that is a different thing. Therefore, Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was recognized by Rupa Goswami, Namo Mahavadannaya Krishna Prema Pradayati. My dear Lord, you are the most magnificent of all incarnations. The other incarnation, people could not understand. But you are freely distributing yourself. Krishna Chaitanya Namani, Krishnaya Krishna Chaitanya Namani, Gauratise Namaha. Therefore, we have to follow the footsteps of Rupa Goswami, Rupanuga. Then we can understand Lord Chaitanya. And if we get favor of Lord Chaitanya, we can very easily understand Krishna. This is the process. One.
In the same Bhagavad Gita 18:55, it is also said that scientific knowledge of Sri Krishna is understood only by the process of devotional service
Yeah. Here also it is confirmed. Bhagavad Bhakti Yoga. It is not said by mystic yoga, by hatha yoga, by jnana yoga, by karma yoga. No. Bhagavad Bhakti Yoga. If you want to understand the science of God, then we have to adopt this devotional service, not by yoga. Otherwise, in Bhagavad it would have been said by karma yogata, by jnana yogata, by hatha yogata, by dhyana yogata. No, it is clearly said Bhagavad Bhakti Yogata. Bhagavad Tattva Vijnanam. Mukta Sangasya Jaya. If you are still after Jnana Yoga, you cannot understand God. It is clearly said. And the Bhagavad Gita also it is clearly said, Bhaktya Mam Abhijanati. Simply through devotional service. So if you want to know God, then you have to follow the prescribed rules and regulations of Bhagavad Bhakti Yoga. It is very simple. It is made very easy, especially in this age. Simply by chanting Hare Krishna mantra is so made easy. But we are so unfortunate that we do not take advantage of this. Itadisi tava kripa bhagavan mamapi duddaiva idrisamiha janinanuraga. Like Chaitanya Mahaprabhu laments, my dear Lord, you are so compassionate and merciful upon us that in this age you have descended as your name, and one can chant this name without any regulation. Without any regulation. Niyamita smaranena kala. Any time, any circumstances, one can chant this Hare Krishna mantra. Krishna has become so liberal. But Chaitanya Mahaprabhu said, Itadisi tava kripa bhagavan mamapi, my dear Lord, although you are so much merciful upon me, still I am so unfortunate. Itadisi tava kripa bhagavan mamapi duddaiva idrisha. I am so unfortunate. Duddaiva idrisha miha janina. I could not be attached to chanting of Hare Krishna mantra. I am so unfortunate. You see, the things have been made so easy, actually. But unfortunate class of men, they cannot take to it. Thank you.